Hello, my name is Michelle Ma, and I am a character technical artist currently at Blizzard Entertainment. I initially created the Inclusive Character Creator as my thesis at the University of Southern California as an exploration of inclusive design for 3D character creators. So, why character creators? On a personal level, I love spending hours customizing my character in games, and I always crave to extend a version of myself into the game. However, I often struggle being able to really do this because popular media tends to fall back on stereotypical norms. Many of these representational issues have been well discussed in the industry, including the lack of representation for darker skin tones and natural hair, the reinforcement of the gender binary and avatar selection, the lack of representation for disabilities, the lack of representation for body fat in larger body types, and more. So, why do we as game developers continue to push for options that perpetuate social harm? For my research, I tried to push for a new framework for character creators, and I drew partial inspiration from cartoons and media targeted for youth, including Hilda, Pokemon, and Steven Universe. These shows build characters through shape language and identity, and the purpose of these shows and games is for everyone to be able to see themselves in that universe. I also relied heavily on fashion and medical terminology for my research. I'm surprised that games don't rely on fashion classifications more because the processes we use to pick foundation or pick clothes that match our body shape would be an amazingly informed and mindful experience when applied to a game environment. I learned a lot about myself and actually gained more self confidence going through these systems because even though the fashion industry has its toxic side, a lot of these classifications aren't meant to tell you that your body is bad. It's meant to uplift and inform your choices. So, for the limited scope of my project, I came up with the following categorizations for my production. For body size and shape, I had 3 body sizes and 5 body shapes with different underwear options. I explored 45 natural skin tones and 45 alternative skin tones and intended to explore skin textures for body hair, acne, and more. I included wheelchair and sitting poses as well as transhumeral and transfemoral amputation and prosthesis. And I spent a lot of time researching a graphical representation for mid-length curly coily hair. For the user interface, I was mindful of the hierarchy of options, exposed categorizations with inclusive terminology, and focused on discrete testable options. So why does this matter? An inclusive character creator is a better character creator. People want socially responsible games. Game devs want more sustainable and more creative processes. And we have the talent and resources to design more inclusive games, but often than not, those resources are spent on an old framework. The most important lesson I learned while developing this framework is that urgency should be a tool to compel developers to innovate and make beautiful games and experiences. It should not be a reason to output outdated work that replicates the issues of its predecessors. That concludes my talk. Thank you for listening.